Good afternoon, everyone. Jason here. Today is December 16th, and this is your aftermarket update. All right, I am making today's video in support of a webinar that I'm going to be doing on the 19th of December. The webinar is titled, Learn to Trade Like a Casino. The casino has a very distinct statistical advantage over you, the player. And as a trader, you need to have a statistical advantage or edge in order for you to be successful. Our edge, we believe, is our reward to risk ratio. Today we took a ES trade that ended up being a 4-to-1 reward to risk type ratio trade. You can see up here at the top of the price ladder that we did have a $1,200 day. We had one ES trade and one break-even CL trade. The CL today was, just to kind of recap here, was very narrow of range. If you look here, the range here today was 63 ticks in the entire session. The overnight session here, if you look down in the bottom left-hand corner, or sorry, the day session rather, if you look down here in the bottom left-hand corner, is 33 ticks low to high. The other thing that you notice here is that the cumulative volume ratio for the entire session today was 40% of the previous 4 Mondays. So accumulating the previous month worth of Mondays and tracking it against today's volume, we were at 40% of the entire volume for those 4 previous Mondays. Not that unusual, a little bit unusual, but not that unusual for a holiday period. But again, very narrow range over there on the CL. So it was really the ES that we were looking at here today as our opportunity. So we'll start here with a couple of different ideas and kind of give you what we were talking about this morning as bias. Look here at the daily chart, and again, the market has just been in this channel. We had broken down through the channel and just really been rallying pretty much nonstop. We had China trade news on Friday, and that has the exuberance of that has carried over into the session today. The other thing that we talked about is the fact that, and again, these profiles that are in the gray area, these are your overnight profiles. The profiles in the white are your day profiles. And what you can notice here is that the value areas had continued, with the exception of this one day, had been continuing to migrate higher. So what does that mean? That means that the perceived value of the market is continuing to rally. So as we sat down in here today, we talked about the fact that we were going to be looking for long opportunities in the market. As the market opened up, we were going to be looking for opportunities to get long. So that was the story that the market was telling us. We have our market maker levels that we look at here as we get into it. And again, these are the structure points. This basically tells us where we are in the story. We ended up opening above, rally up through, and pull back here into your DS signal, which was right here at 21.92. This is where we ended up getting long today. We had a target. We said we might be able to reach up all the way up to the DS extension 1. We did get here, got down just enough to fill us here at 91.75. Our entry was at 92, and the market rallies up to there. So again, we had a 2-point stop that never really was in jeopardy, and the market rallied all the way up to our target here at 32, and that was an 8-point target. Now, we talked about the fact that it could have gotten a little higher, but we said that the market should, if it reaches through this DS target. And again, one of these ideas that we have on our market maker levels is that the market does have a 2.5-point box around that level, and right today that level was 98.5. So 2.5 points would be up to 01. And if you look at what the high was, it ended up being at 01. And we took our target at 32 even. So instead of 32.01, we took our target at 32 even. And the reason that we did that is a big psychological number. And we weren't sure if the market was going to rally through that area or not. Subsequently did. And that is how the trade that we ended up taking here today. The other confirmation tool that we used was the cumulative volume delta. So if you look here this morning at around 8:45, which is right here, okay, this is where the market sold off and began to rally up. And once it was right in this area, the volume just began to continue to carry above the 15-day simple moving average. We got in at our 92, and of course, as the market as the volume had come down, and it was at about 45, which is right here. Market had crossed over the 15-period SMA. We jumped on board, and that is our trade of the day. So again, only two things can happen when you have a trade, and those two things are it's either going to work or it isn't. Once we got into the trade, we were looking for a minimum 2.5 to 1 reward to risk. We felt really comfortable, however, reaching out to our DS target level, and ultimately we thought that if we got to there, we'd reach up into that 32.00 area, and that's exactly what we did. And that's where you'll see us take our 8-point ES trade off the chart. So we're going to be talking about this in great detail in our webinar on Thursday. If you haven't done so already, we encourage you to register for that webinar. There'll be you should have received this. You should have received this video in an email that would also have a link to that webinar as well. So you should be able to register for that. If not, join us in the trade room this week, and we'll make sure you get a link to that webinar that we're going to be doing on Thursday, December 19th. So again, as always, I want to say thank you for watching the videos here today. And what I'm going to do now is transition you over into the actual trade so you can see the trade, where we got in, how we managed it. I'll put a little music behind it, speed it up, etc., so you can kind of get the gist and see exactly how this trade played out in today's trade room. So again, without further ado, here is that OTG trade of the day. All right, I'm in at 92. Stop is 90. We're going to be looking to target up to 98.5. 98.5 on the target.